What up, though? It's your boy DOC. I have a very special guest on the line. If you would like to introduce yourself and where you're from.
How y'all doing? My name is Dexter Hussey. They call me Sosa, Sauce Money. I'm from Detroit, Southwest Detroit, Ecorse, River Rouge area, the downriver area. I'm originally out of Ecorse.
Word. Well, first off, before we start, I want to go ahead and say I greatly appreciate the time, in the interview. And, I know we got a lot to talk about. I definitely want to talk about the reason why we're doing this interview, because it's based around, the Black Mafia Family blueprint to conspiracy. Can you let people know, like, what exactly that is?
Okay, the Blueprint to Conspiracy. It's a book it's an ebook that's basically we're going to explain to you roughly who we are, where we came up from, where it all started, and along the way we're going to be giving you different time frames and documents on the rise and fall, of the family.
Now, let me ask you, because throughout this time, since the mid 2000s up until now, there have been a lot of DVDs and everything. Can you explain to the people what differentiates this particular project from everything else that's out?
Well, if you notice, a lot of the DVDs that's out, like on YouTube and different things like that, the major ones, like Marshall Loop, you have, especially Marshall Loop, you have a lot of the federal cooperation, the governmental cooperation. So the story that they're telling is the story that they tried to put out to be sure that they kill any real stories that come out, or dilute any story or anybody else's story that may come out. And since then, everything else had been based on or around that particular story. What's different with our story is, with the story that I'm telling you, on the story that I got to take that back. It's not my story, but the documents that's going to come out and the things that I'm going to be saying are documented, but the people don't have access to. So what's going to make ours difference is it's not going to be about where the smoke and mirrors, where they wanted you to they wanted you to believe, but it's going to be actually where it all started from, where the betrayal started, and how long it started, and who started the betrayal for real. That's BMF started right here, Rushtown Management. This is what we was before BMF came along and all that. This was it right here. This is what we came at. You welcome to the hood. You have arrived. I mean, everybody around here knows. See, the good thing about this is we can pull up, and the story in the city can give you a million stories. Everybody's got a story about us. Everybody can tell you something. Somehow, some way, we touched everybody in this neighborhood. Everybody knows us. Okay. Now, going back, let's go back a little bit to start from the beginning. How would you explain your life, like growing up in your particular area of Detroit, Ecorse, as a child? Just growing up prior to meeting Big Meech in Southwest T. Like, how would you explain your life and the environment at that time growing up in Detroit? Well, I grew up in a great home. My father provided for it. My mother was a house mom. I had a lot of uncles that were in the street at the time. The crimes wasn't really drugs like that per se. They were like taking tractors and different things like that. It was pimping, stuff like that. I mean, I grew up around there. I seen all that, but I wasn't really interested into none of that. I grew up in the projects on 8th Street in Ecorse, so it was a different time. The times were different. People wasn't getting shot and stuff like that. The worst you can get over there is like cut or stabbed with a knife. So times were different then. So I grew up around real old gangsters where like my grandfather was part of the Purple Grain with Al Capone, and them. They used to bootleg whiskey from over in Canada back over here, back into Detroit, and then ship it to Chicago. So, I was around the riots and stuff like that back in 69, 70, 68. When the riots started, I was a young boy, but I remember a lot of things going on, a lot of fires and a lot of stuff like that. I came up in the times were different, but I seen a lot, especially me living over in the projects, coming up in the projects at the time.
Right. Now, speaking on the actual riots and everything, you say you remember you were young during that time. can you how did the city, how would you feel like the city before the riots and after the riots, how you feel like the city may have changed from your perspective being alive during that time? Was it like racial
Segregation.
segregation?
Yes, segregation. It's not segregated like it used to be. It was areas where you couldn't even come across the tracks. You couldn't come in certain areas. Whites couldn't come here, and what I'm saying, blacks, they basically went where we wanted to, but it was always some animosity. So everybody had their side, even though like the town I was from, Ecorse, and even in River Rouge, they had Southwest Detroit was predominantly black. It was all black, but we had sections in the town that I grew up in that only the white folks stayed on that side, and we stayed over here. So you knew you wouldn't cross. There was an imaginary line that you wouldn't cross.
Okay. Now, at some point in time, did you end up going off to college and school?
Yes, I went off to college in '84. I went down to Lane College in Jackson, Tennessee. I went down there, and then I went over to Tennessee State. Yeah, I played the Omega Psi Phi down there.
Okay. So, yeah. And was this around the same time that you ended up meeting Big T and Meech? How did that happen? Did you come home on like a school break, or were you back home permanently? Can you describe describe to the people painting the picture of like how you end up meeting Big T and Meech?
Well, I came home. When I came home in '85, I come home for the summer. I was going to I'm coming home to take me a summer job, and I was going to go right on back. And my mother told me that my sister had a boyfriend, somebody that she was seeing that that she liked, and she really liked him. And I was like, my sister's a bit of a tomboy, so I'm like, she likes somebody, I'm like, well, this guy must be pretty special, so I couldn't wait to meet him. So when I got home, I didn't meet Demetrius at that time. What I used to do was go up there to the arcade around the corner and just play video games and shoot pool. Yeah, man, this is the car wash we used to get down there right here. We used to come back here, make sales, man, barbecue right here across the back. Like I said, he got it he got it on, and he didn't have no problem with it. We just kept the peace up here. We made sure that there wasn't gonna be no bullshit, no shootings or nothing like that up here. But we used to go right over in this corner. The hustle was, crack was in, but I wasn't into no drugs. I was into criminal psychology at the time. I was studying criminal psychology in school. I was in my second year in Tennessee, and I was just home for the summer, thinking about where I'm going to be doing my my undergraduate studies at. At the time, there was a place called it was down off of Outer Drive. It was the Veterans Administration Hospital. So that's what I was going to be doing my undergrad studies were. That's why I was starting my undergrad studies. But I used to go up to the store, and a lot of my buddies was out there, and they was always asking me about Demetrius. And I was like, man, why y'all keep asking me about that? And they was like, man, tell them we trying to get straight. And I was like, man, I don't know what, I didn't know what the hell they was talking about. I didn't know what they were talking about until I was getting straight. So I asked them, they finally told me. And when I finally met Demetrius, I was like, yo, man, I already know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you around here with that. I ain't with it, and don't have it around the house. So that's how I first met Demetrius. That was the first meeting with us. That's how we met.
Well, and with that, what you saying that, like, what was his reaction? Did he, as being your sister's older brother, or whatever the case may be, how did he, accept your terms, or how what you said to him about not having it around the house? Was he cool with it, or how did that play out?
Oh yeah, well, Meech's a smooth guy, so he was like, oh man, you ain't got to worry about that. I wouldn't bring none of that around here. I ain't gonna put nothing, in your people in the house, man. I got a lot of I got respect for your mom and your dad, and I wouldn't do that, man. This, that, the other. I was like, yeah, okay, well, just don't do that. But time went on. I was home maybe about a couple weeks later. They went out to a Anita Baker's concert, and I was just being nosy, and I went into my sister's room and went into her drawers, and lo and behold, I found a sack of 50s. So I took it, and then I went around to the corner store with it, and just thinking about what the hell I'm gonna do with it. And I was pissed off, naturally, because I done told this dude not to bring this stuff around here. So guys coming in, they asking me about, man, is Demetrius here, Demetrius here, and I'm like, man, I done told y'all about asking me about, I done got into a fight, about that before with some of them guys. So I just broke down and just said, well, since they wanted it, I had it in my pocket. I didn't know the trouble that I could really get into having it at the time, because I didn't know the severity or the severity of having crack cocaine at that time. So I just started selling it. I started selling 50, 50, 50, 50, and then next thing you know, it was all gone. Mm-hmm. And then so when I got home, I'm sitting on the porch. When they got home, I'm sitting on the porch. After they left the concert, I'm sitting on the porch, and Meech see me. He's shaking his head like, oh, it's getting ready to be some trouble. So she eased on into the house. They went up on the side of the house. My sister eased on into the house and went into the room and went looking for it, and it wasn't there. So she came back out and asked me, did I go in her room and take something? And I was like, take what? And she's like, well, whatever it is, I want it back. And I was like, no, tell him to come ask me for it. So he came around there like, man, hey, man, I don't want no trouble. You know what I'm saying? He said, man, just give me my stuff. I'm going to go about my business. Man, I said, man, what did I tell you, man? So, and he was like, man, you're right, man. I'm gone, man. You ain't got to worry about me coming over here no more. So what I did was I told him I didn't have it. I don't have it. So he's standing there looking at me, and I'm looking at him. And then he's like, man, come on, man, just let me go about my business. I said, man, I ain't got it. So we stood there looking at each other for about another 5 minutes, and then I just pulled out the money. It's like, is this what you? I was like, I said, I don't have the product, but I got the money. So he started smiling and laughing, and he was like, man, you want a job? I was like, hell yeah. He's like, is it that easy? He's like, yeah. I was like, man. And ever since then, me and dude been rolling.
Crazy. And during that, how would you say you were around that time? You say this was at 85? Yeah,
I was 20.
Okay, 20. And how old was Big Meech around this time?
About 17.
Okay.
My sister, 17.
So how did it play out after that? Did you end up meeting Southwest T after that, or how did things play out after that once he offered a job? What had happened?
What had happened was, see, T and them, they were limited. Meech was limited. T wouldn't come over there because, it was other guys that was in the neighborhood that didn't like Meech and them because they were hustlers. They were getting their hustle on, and Meech knew a lot of people. People always were drawn to Meech, so they didn't like Meech, but they wouldn't mess with Meech because of my sister and my family. So as long as he was down there on 19th Street, he was okay, but he couldn't go no further than 19th Street back down in the E-course. So once I got on with them, then it opened up, and then we started dealing with the factions around there. They got to really know what kind of guy Meech was, and that's how it all just took off. We just exploded on the scene down there.
Right. So let me ask you this: at that particular time, did they already have a name for the quote unquote crew? Was it BMF, or what was the original name, or was there even a name at that time?
There wasn't no name at the time, but then we came up with one, and it was Rush Town.
From that moment, did things get out of control for you as far as being a quote unquote, college student going to school for criminal stuff like that? Like, once you seen that side of life, how did it impact you? Did it just automatically blow up and y'all started doing things out of state, or like how was that progression?
Well, it was a progression after that. It was a guy down there locally that I went to high school with. He was about 3 or 4 years older than me. So we started basically working for him. We started working for him. He would give us sacks. He would start stacking us up. We'd get like $7,800 worth of, or $8,000 worth of 50, which was like half a ball, and then we'd turn around and have to bring something back like $5,500. We keep $2,000, something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's how we work that. Each one of us.
Okay. Now, this may be kind of bouncing around a little bit, but I do want to ask an overall question, not just at the beginning, just in general, for the people that know what BMF is, like now, how they look at it, or during the height, or whatever the case may be. Ultimately, what was your initial Like, what would you consider like your role for BMF, like while it was actually working like a well-oiled machine?
What was my role? You know, as far as what you talking about when it was present, like with Black Mafia Family?
Yes, with BMF, like what would you consider your role? Like
Um,
what were you actually, what was you doing during, while everything was functioning?
I was in logistics. I was in charge of logistics. That means that I moved everything, the money and the yayo. That's what I did. I moved the product and the money around. Everything. That's what I do.
Okay. So at some
Okay.
point, in time, you did end up getting locked up. Like, how long did you get locked up for?
I got 60 months, but before I got 60 months, I was in and out of jail. They sent me out on psych evaluations and all this. They were trying to scare me into taking the plea because they didn't have a case on me. So altogether, that with that and being locked up in Fort Huron and the Oklahoma Transfer Center and just my and as well as the halfway house with my probation, I did about 12 years.
Mm. When did the crew decide to move to ATL and why?
We moved about 89. We went down there on a visit, and then 90 we started moving around, and about 91, 92 we were in and out of Atlanta. We didn't really get down there to Atlanta really until about 97, 96, 97.
96, 97.
We were like a lot of our time was spent in St. Louis, Missouri.
So that okay. Now going back to you being locked up for that, the time that you end up being locked up for. Ultimately, how did you end up getting locked up? Did you get actually caught with something, or did someone snitch on you? How did that end up happening?
The guys that I grew up with and around the neighborhood, a lot of and most of them were T people. Most of them was Terry's people. Were they all told on me.
And that kind of lead me to the next question I was going to ask you. Can you explain the difference between what 263 and BMF?
263. If you look at your phone and you see 263, it is spelled BMF out. So
right.
Instead of it being BMF, they had to change it to 263. The story behind that was one day out in California, Terry and his crew was out at Suge Knight's studio, and they were out hollering BMF. We had already knew Suge Knight, and Suge Knight knew us. So Suge Knight called in and was like, "Yo," called Meech and was like, "Yo, man, I got this guy over here, man. Oh, he keeps saying he BMF, man, over here high side." And he's like, "Man, he's like, man, he's like, man, what you want us to do with these dudes?" And then Meech was like, "Well, describe the guy to me, man. The big guy." He said, "Yeah, big one-eyed dude, man, with a bunch of jewelry on." He said, "Man, that's my brother, man." He said, "Man, put him on the phone." So he put, Suge put Meech on the phone, and put T on the phone, and Meech told him, "Look, man, y'all can't be using that name no more. So y'all gonna have to do something else, man. You know what I'm saying?" And bam. So that's when they came 263. That's that was it, because they had fell out in Gardena.
Right.
It fell out in Gardena one night.
And that was basically that was going to be my next question. What caused the split? Between so what ended up happening with that?
It was a commercial back in the day that Mary J. Blige did a Coca-Cola commercial. She was in a Bentley Azure, a silver Bentley Azure. I don't know if y'all remember that, but she did this commercial, and Meech had just bought the car, had just bought the Azure, and T got furious when he found out about it, because T wouldn't come to California. T was staying in Detroit, so he got furious when he found out about it. He flew out there and was pissed at Meech and pissed at Pops, Wayne. He was Wayne Joyner. He was pissed at him because he felt as though they was doing something behind his back. But he was like, "This should have been me, and y'all got it, and you shouldn't have did this, and I'm the one that's supposed to did this, and that should have been my car in the commercial." And one thing about the brothers that all the way to the end that lasted was sibling rivalry. It was a strong competition thing between them. Not more so Meech, but T just had to outdo his brother at all times, and that ultimately brought the family down.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
And
Now,
that's the truth.
now, out of all the DVDs and different things I've seen, being from Detroit, different things I've heard, people, everybody always tries to bring up this guy named Doc Marshall that was I guess allegedly or supposed to be an accountant. A lot of people focused on him. What was his role in BMF? And as far as in the DVDs, people talked about he snitched and brought things down. Like, can you what happened with Doc Marshall? Like, how did y'all meet him? How did he get into it? What was his role? How did he end up snitching? And can you explain that from your perspective from the inside?
Doc Marshall got got caught up on a murder in Florida from some drugs that one of his partners had got from T. When he got caught up on the murder down there, he was already in trouble. Not just him, but his girl, his baby's moms, and all them, and his brothers, and all them, Hassan, Sharad, all them. They were into fraud, credit card fraud, and they were into all types of what you would call that trade line frauds and all that. They were doing all that type of stuff. So when he got caught up down there, they asked him where he got the drugs from. He mentioned Terry's name, and it had already had an open investigation in Atlanta against Terry and them anyway, against the family. So what he did was they used him. They switched him over. I got the paperwork to prove it. They switched him over, and bam, they sent him on up there to go get with Terry and them, and he started getting houses and cars and started getting drugs from Terry and them, and that's how he infiltrated over there. Now, when he came over there with us, he tried to sell. We bought a few cars and stuff from him. He may have done something. He didn't do anything with me in particular, but the paperwork gonna say that they did though. But he never done anything with me. But they just put it all together. They was running out of time. The government was running out of time. They was running out of funding. So they had to put a story together, and they used Doc Marshall to put the story together. You know what I'm saying? But they had already had a story previously before that. It already started back in 2000. But they used Doc because he was closer. He was like the inside man. You know what I'm saying? He like the infiltrator. They used him as their that was their ground. That was their ground zero. Right.
So okay. So at some point in time, like people, kind of consider him like, I guess you could use the terminology like smoke and mirrors. Can you explain that as far as with Doc Marshall? Like, what would you mean? What would that mean?
Well, they used him, like I said, we just said earlier, they used it as if he was running, keeping the books and all that. They use him, they use him as an accountant. They use him as if he was managing both families' books, but he wasn't. That was just something they did so they can establish a RICO. You know what I'm saying? An ongoing continuous enterprise. So that was the reason why they used that. But in actuality, he was not the initial person that got this the investigation started. He was not.
So who was the actual individual or the actual circumstance or situation that got the investigation started?
Harold Henry Mills and his wife, Tonesha Welch, got the whole investigation started. They got it all started from phone calls or doing on the phone, her talking back to this guy in jail, and him being mad, and it's all in the documents. I have some posted now on the Instagram that you can go in there and look on _ the real Black Mafia Family. You can go in there and you can look at it and you can see he's going to tell it. I ain't got to tell you. This is not my story. He's going to tell it, and the grand jury is going to also ask him those pertinent questions. That's going to show you, and look at the year now, because the year is going to be November 6th of 2002. That was 3 years and 1 month prior to them coming in the door. He was already talking about us. Where was he getting that information from? His son couldn't only been up about 1.5 years old, so he wasn't talking to his son. Right. He was talking with Tonesha Welch.
And would you say when he was speaking to someone in jail, he was talking to Miss Welch, she was the one that was incarcerated.
No, he was incarcerated.
Oh, and she was. Oh,
She was with Terry.
right, right.
So Terry was basically sleeping with the enemy the whole.
Did calling saying sleeping with the enemy? Did anyone else at that particular time within BMF have any inklings or anything about her, like in a negative way that maybe she was a bad seed or anything like that, or she just kind of was up under the rug, in the clear? People didn't know that she like was messing things up.
Honestly, me and Demetrius knew how that relationship started. We never felt comfortable with that. Neither did Demetrius' mother or his sister nor his father. So we already knew what that was. But Meech, to be truthful, Meech never liked that girl. Never liked her. And it really fell out the day after he left Cancun when we got off the plane, and we were getting ready to head back down to Atlanta. And Terry was like, well, he was not ready to leave yet. I mean, he was heading back down to Texas. And Terry was like, he's not ready to leave yet. He wants to walk Tony to Texas. He wants to walk Tony to the airport the next day. And he's like, man, she a grown-ass woman. She was standing right there. He said, man, she can walk herself there, man. You just left. You've been with her all weekend. He said, man, we got to get back down there. And Terry went out and blurted out, like, man, you just trying to get back down there with them bitches and spend, back down there with them bras and spend all your money on them bras. And Meech's girl was standing right there, which is a no-no. So that really tore a lot of other stuff up. So, so when you look at I blew a bag, you know what I'm saying? You look and you see her testimony. Everything she said in her testimony was basically false, because the dates and everything, because if you go in there and you look at the IG page, the Instagram page, it's all right there. Harold is telling you everything. Her husband is telling you this, not me. Don't take Sosa's word for it. It's her.
Right.
It's him. He's telling it.
Now on one of these, one of the paperworks that I was looking at, there's a big list of names. I'm trying to find it right here. Where it's like, at the beginning, the United States versus, and then it says your name, and then it has a list of those names. It says witnesses. Like, what was going on? What was transpiring and going on during that time, and who are those individuals, and what was the parts they were playing?
They were people that got caught up, and it's called a catch and release. They had caught these people, and then they throw them back out there. They'll hold them for 3-4 minutes, question them, take pictures of everything, log everything, and just make sure they got a full account of what they had basically stopped the seizure, and then they take and throw them back out there. So those people were already compromised, and they were turned, and they were working for the government, and the people that got caught never told their employers or the family that they got caught. So that was it. So it was like the catch and release program. It's like field and streams.
Right. Right.
You catch it, you snap it, you weigh it, you see how long it is, and you throw it back. They're looking for the big fish. So you don't take the little fish, you just, you throw it back and hope to catch the big one. And that's what they done. And those people that was on that list, it was like 39 of them. But all the names that were on that list were also government agents too. So those were people that they were testifying against. Those are the people that got caught and released, they testified to these people also in front of a grand jury, which I have all that paperwork also, all those documents too.
Okay. Now, something very important that I wanted to ask you. When you got arrested and went to court, you ended up representing yourself. You didn't use an attorney at all?
No. They tried to give me one, but I didn't. I use them as standby counsel only. I don't need them to present me, because they don't know my case firsthand. Right. So what could you say to defend me? And I'm kind of familiar with the law anyway, so there's nothing you can say. And furthermore, you didn't have a case on me anyway. You don't have a case. You only have some people that was compromised, which will say anything. So I kind of gave them. And then the judge, the prosecutor, she wasn't speaking, but the judge was, which constitutes a conflict of interest, because he's practicing law across the bench. So,
right. And you were locked up when you were representing yourself. You were locked up for what at that particular moment?
Well, I was free at the time when I was representing myself, but me and the judge got into it, and I said something to him, and that was that's what really put the clamps on me. So they locked me up, and then they floated me around for about a year. You know, I was on Common Air. I was at the Oklahoma transfer station. They sent me up to Seattle, Washington for at the C-Tech up in Seattle, Washington for a psych evaluation for 8 months. You know, they was just, and then they sent me over to Port Huron down there, where in the lockup down in Port Huron, where Meech was locked up at, in Port Huron. They sent me down there for like 6 months. So I had to tell them to just prosecute me, bring me back in. So the only way they was going to let me come back in was with an attorney. So once I got the attorney and I got in there, I made him stand by counsel again, and they had to give me all the paperwork.
And that's ultimately how you end up getting all the paperwork and surveillance videos and everything else.
Exactly, because I had it. He told her, the judge, Aben Cohn, told the prosecutor, Don Isom, AUSA, to give me all the paperwork, everything. So she gave it to me, but she didn't give it to me in the order as, she didn't give it to me in the discovery in the order that would have been afforded to a real attorney.
Right.
So I had to go in and find all this, and along the way, I'm seeing other things.
What would you consider like the most shocking thing that you end up running across during that time when you once you got the paperwork and surveillance videos?
The most shocking part of it was when I seen in the seizure documents where Tonesha Welch was named in the RICO as under Title 21, Title 21 subsection 848 under the continuous criminal enterprise. She was named with Demetrius and Terry, Flenory, and Tonesha Welch, each individually charged with under Title 21.
Can for the people that's listening to this that may not understand what Title 21 is, can you break that down like in layman terms so people can understand, and also explain exactly who Tonesha Welch is?
Title 21 U.S. Title 21 Title 21 USC Title 21 subsection 848 is continuous criminal enterprise. That means that you are named in running a continuous criminal enterprise as kingpins. That means you are the bosses. That means you are the top. It means that you are the first three or however many that's named in there under that particular offense, that you are looking at no less than 25 years automatically.
So with T and Meech, they were considered the kingpins, and they was considering her a queen pin basically.
Exactly. She was
Okay.
named individually, and that's in the paperwork on the IG page. It's right there. I put it, but people I don't know why people don't see that.
Right. Now I seen maybe 3 weeks ago she ended up leaving a comment up under your Instagram page. And once again, what's your Instagram page name again?
It's underscore the real Black Mafia family.
Okay. I seen her end up leaving a comment, and she said, and this is what she put, so quote unquote, y'all need to quit this nonsense. Side who was who. When I met them in '88, they didn't have money. Crack in the corner don't count as a kingpin. You might not like T, but let's keep it 100. It wasn't If it wasn't for him, when no one have money out there. You could talk about separation in 2003. Y'all need to stop disrespecting. You don't have to like him, but you don't have to downplay the man. I seen it. I know how the money came. What was that comment about, and what is she talking about?
Well, what she's saying basically is it's a slight to me because she know that's my page, but she was trying to say that y'all listening to what drivers say in a few docs, which is documents.
Hmm.
So what she's trying to do is slight me on a slide, and then she's like calling me a driver, which I was. But as things grow, you just like you on the street corner, you sling crack. Eventually, you don't just move straight into the weight. You move from the small to the big. That's what most hustlers done. So that all that she's saying is true, but it changes to moving rocks to moving keys and from driving to logistics. So that's true. And then as far as the docs is concerned, a few docs, I do have a few docs. I got about 40,000 pages of documents. That's how I caught her, and she knows it. And what she's trying to do is downplay this because she know what I'm about to do. She know what I'm about to expose.
I told Meech not to bring no. When I came home from college, my first year I came home from college, my mom had told me that my sister had a boyfriend. My sister was a tomboy type. So when she had a boyfriend, I was kind of surprised. I wanted to meet the guy. Who was this dude? Because she wasn't even really into all that like that. You know, she was into sports and stuff. She had a scholarship to Maryland, and she was on her way to college. She went to Southwest Detroit, even though she stayed over in Ecorse. She likes to go over here to this store that I'm getting ready to go over here. It was like a billiards place. They had pool tables in it, but they also had video games. So I would go up there and just play video games, and guys used to come up there and be asking me about dude, man, where Meech at, man? I'd be like, man, and I was wondering why they was asking me about Meech. When I found out, I seen when I finally met Meech, I told him, don't bring none of that shit over to the house. Don't leave none of that stuff over there in the drawer. You know what I'm saying? I said, take your shit with you, because I wasn't even cut like that. You know what I'm saying? Even though I came from that background, my people were pimps and shit like that. But I chose to stay away from that. Even my grandfather, he was with the Purple Gang back in the day. He was working for Alphonse Capone and them. They was delivering whiskey from over in Canada. I'm getting ready to take you right now up here to the store. This is where I found a sack in the house, and I was trying to think of what I was gonna do with this stuff, and I had it in my pocket while I was up here playing video game, not knowing that I could have really went to jail if they had came up in there and grabbed me. But I didn't know, because you know my mindset wasn't on that. I was so pissed at the dude, pissed at Meech for bringing and having the stuff at the house. Him and my sister went to a Anita Baker concert. You know what I'm saying? So I was sitting here, it was on a Sunday. So I was standing up here playing video games, and guys, all this was all banging, man. You know, guys, and they was waiting on Demetrius, and every time I come up here, they was asking me. So I had the yayo, and I said I was gonna get rid of it. What I was gonna do with it. So I started selling it. So I had a sack for like $7,500, $7,800. I sold the whole sack that Sunday. Meech came home. I told him I ain't have his yayo. You know what I'm saying? We sat there. We had a standoff. We sitting there looking at each other. And then I told him, but was it worth $7,500, $7,800? He was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. Well, I got the money. And he asked me, did I want a job? And this is the spot right here. So ever since that day, me and Meech been together since 1985.
Right. Have you and her had any verbal communication outside of social media?
No. I saw her one time at a club when I first got off probation, maybe about 2 years ago, and she was like, hey, Sosa, what you doing in this club? You know you too old for that. I say, shit, well then what that make you?
Right. Right.
And we just were like ships in the night. She didn't look in my face and I didn't look in hers.
Okay. Now, one of the things that I definitely wanted to ask you, a lot of people, this is a question I know a lot of people throughout all this BMF stuff, people have always said they felt like Big Meech partying and all the diamonds and tigers and all that stuff is what brought the attention onto BMF and what took them down. You know, from you being a part of everything from, you say, 85 up until to whenever, you know, it ended. What would your thoughts be on people that say that?
Well, see, that's good. I mean, well, in actuality, what they saying lets me know that what we planned worked, because they didn't see the other side of what was going on. That was the plan the whole time.
That's a female. Rick, you see? Yeah, that's gonna be your good Meech. That's your good Meech right there. That's the place right there. He was driving his pickup truck. We're gonna tag him on as well.
Was he carrying anything? I couldn't tell.
if the police is following you and you spending money and they following you and they looking for drugs, they're looking for how you making your money. So as long as they're spinning their wheels, trying to figure this out, they'll never figure it out. They was following the wrong people. It was smoke and mirrors. We had been set it up this way. So, like I said, it was only a few men that ran the operation. Everybody else was smoke and mirrors. So if you got 100 guys out, you got to follow 100 people every night. So you spinning your wheels. In the meantime, the proud Marines is over here getting the work in. So it was smooth sailing. Nobody never knew nothing about me and a few other people.
And that was a deliberate sit down type of conversation. Like, we purposely gonna go out, do this so they can follow us. And
yeah, of course, that was the plan. Put the billboard up. We didn't care about that because you wasn't gonna catch us doing nothing. It wasn't gonna be nothing caught. What are you gonna get us on? What can you get them on? You ain't gonna catch nothing. They spending all the money. So if you're gonna arrest somebody, you can't arrest them for balling. You gotta arrest the people that for tax evasion over here. Where that's all you can get. That's all you can get. Okay, get that. But we wasn't gonna be no real time. There was no crime being committed except for spending money.
Exactly.
Basically, we went to jail for balling.
So there is a question I do want to ask you. When we first got in contact with each other, I ended up posting a audio clip of when Meech was locked up in Texas.
Yeah, I had to call your phone. His is blocked. It's restricted.
Yeah, he said he's paying for it now.
Okay, well, shit, tell me going to have to do this one from your car, from your phone right now, then I'll do I can talk to you on his phone call later. When I run out. Just tell him to do it, not call us off now.
Let's do it now. We're going to spoke on my phone. All right, hold on.
Yeah, you can call us off now while yours is restricted. That way, later on, when I get ready to talk to her some more, if I run out of her phone calls, I can talk on yours. But right now, yours is restricted. Yeah, I just took care of it. Huh? Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Hello? Hello? Soft money. Listen to me. Listen. Hold on. Hey, alright, listen what I'm saying, man. You ain't got nothing, man. Take you something so you can be straight, right? But get them the rest of him so they can handle my business. You feel me? Take you something, but get the rest of them so they can handle my business. Take you enough to be straight, my nigga. You know what I mean? Right. That's what I'm saying, man. Come on, man. You know I ain't finna leave you like that. All right? So take you something, be straight, man. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing, my nigga. You my nigga. Come on, man. Quit playing. Call down to so y'all can keep in touch. Yeah, I tell him his mama phone is restricted, man. I can't do nothing but write them right now. Their phone restricted. At least if his mama phone was changed, then you got to tell him what they got to do for me to talk to them on the phone from time to time at his mama house. You know what I'm saying?
And if the phone was staticky in that particular situation, is there any way that you can kind of, I don't know if the correct terms would be elaborate or kind of let people know what was going on around that situation? You know, why was he locked up? And, some people may be misconstruing what the conversation was about.
Yeah. What had happened was, he was calling. He needed money, the money for an attorney before he got back up here to Detroit. And some of the people that was holding on to his money was playing him false. Wasn't trying to get his money to him, and acting like they didn't have it and they did something else with it, So I had to. He wanted me to do something different, with the money. But I learned from my last lesson that we did about the Hummer when we lost the one that that the police recovered after the rapper had given them that information. But what was going on was I was in possession of a large sum of money, and he needed to pay his lawyer. So what I did was I got his money back to him so he could pay his attorney.
Okay. And I also noticed in that conversation, Meech mentioned that he was trying to call, your mom's house phone and that it was restricted. The reason I'm kind of asking that is that something that he said in that particular conversation. The reason why I asked, because it kind of shows like how close you guys were if he was trying to contact your mom.
Yeah, what it was he was calling her because she can get in touch with me because we never talk directly unless we talk face to face. And I would have to come in, I would come in to go see Demetrius. Other than that, I never talk to him. You know what I'm saying? He never sees me and I never talk to none of the other people that were around. It was just like 3 or 4 of us to the top. That was it. So he knew that he could call to the house and have my people call me to tell me to turn around because at that time they had arrested him down in his house at Brandywine, Texas, which I was on his way to. So I was on my way to take, to get this money down there.
Now, after that particular situation where, you say he was told to turn around and get the money to attorneys and all that particular situation, I don't know if in brief, if you wanted to speak about it or not, but how did Blue Da Vinci end up playing a part in that whole situation as far as after the phone calls and with the money that was supposed to be turned into an attorney?
Well, what had happened was after the attorney got paid, I took 300,000 out of there. After the attorneys got paid, after his attorney got paid, they Blue and a few other guys, I'm saying Tito, Blue, he was supposed to take the money and do something else with it. He was supposed to go and down to his families, and, you know what I'm saying, and it was supposed to just be sitting around. That was what some of that money was. But before they took the money down there, before Blue and them took the money down there, what had happened was they tried to make a move with the money and got caught.
And I'm assuming you're saying, because the rest of it, as far as like besides this particular cover page that's going to be on the screen, the rest of the paperwork that's directly related to Blue Da Vinci's case and everybody, because a lot of people I know been asking about that particular question. If you want to see all of the paperwork and everything as well, one, you have to go to
underscore the real Black Mafia Family, right,
on Instagram, and then also go and purchase the book, and that's where you will see way more in detail of the paperwork revolving around the Blue Da Vinci situation and everything else that happened.
Yeah, see, the thing of it is these guys, them guys were never, all them guys you saw on everywhere you see Meech, you saw these guys were not part of the machine. These guys were smoke and mirrors. Only thing they were doing was they were bait. We were using them to as decoys to lure the police. The police followed them around. They never could get a bust on them, and they never could catch them with no money or nothing like that because they was not doing anything. So if you got 100 guys that's riding around in brand new cars with jewelry, and they hanging out and they at the clubs all night, they not working. So the police was wondering how they was getting their money. You understand? So they were just basically smoke and mirrors. So when they went out and tried to do something to try to make this move, they got busted because they was never part of this. They thought it was just easy, but if it was that easy, well, then y'all would have been had a job. So they went out there and they got their head knocked off, and that's what happened with that.
So basically, I'm clearly hearing throughout this whole process. Of course, there's faces such as yourself and other individuals that the world have never seen that's official BMF members, because we already see you're already dating back all the way to 1985. So, and that's already been documented in part 1, as far as the relationship between Demetrius and your sister and how that whole situation happened. So basically, in layman terms, like you just said, all the individuals that would go out to the clubs night after night and strip clubs and day after day and all that stuff, that was purposely done. They were just purposely presented as decoys to cause, like, I guess, like a big fuss or distraction so the police would watch them.
Yeah, see, look, it's like this. The police, they get funded to go out and they follow people. So if you're going to go out and you got to follow 30, 40, 50 guys every night, you have to put a tail on them. That's costing money. So they're only going to get so much in their budget. We know this because we have police, we have agents on our payroll. We were actually paying agents. So what we did with them guys, when we put them out there, they get followed. They follow them to their homes. They follow them to women's homes and different things like that. So, but they never seeing no drugs and nothing, and no money exchanging hands and nothing. There was nothing there. So they were just spinning their wheels. So while they was following these guys, the real people involved, the people that was putting in the work, they never knew these guys because they never knew us because we were never hanging out. I mean, me personally, I don't hang out. So I don't take pictures and do all that because of the nature of my job, as well as the other guys. You'll only see a few pictures. That's it. You won't. But like when I used to show up to parties, I'm a suit guy, hard shoe guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm a suit and tie guy. So dude, I automatically tell them guys, do not take no pictures of my man right here. I want to see everything that y'all done tonight before y'all go out there putting it out. Do not take pictures of these guys because they already knew. I mean, most people thought I was the police anyway. So,
right, just your appearance, how you purposely presented yourself. Somewhere in the case where you was talking about, of course, representing yourself, and that they didn't know if you were Cuban, they didn't know if you were Hispanic and stuff like that. How did that? I guess would say, how did that help or could help in your particular situation with them not really being able to tell like who you are, what you were, or anything like that? What's the significance of that?
What do you mean, as far as like with the case, or just with the daily business?
Well, both. Yeah, both.
Well, with the case, I was trying to get a dismissal based on those facts, because if you're going to be prosecuting someone, you have to know who that person is. You have to know all these details. So each time that when I appeared and when I asked for the dismissal based on those facts, the judge just it wasn't even the prosecutor, it was the judge. He didn't even want to hear none of that. What they done was they adjourned it, they postponed it, they pushed it back, they redacted the paperwork and came back again. So they had to redact my paperwork like several different times. They even tried to put drugs on me that I didn't have. They redacted that too. So that's how that happened in that realm. But like when I'm out and about and I'm conducting business, people thought like I was a Secret Service agent and I had somebody important with me, and it depends on how I was moving in those times. But I never ever got stopped. I never lost a load, never, ever. And I'm moving hundreds of keys a day. I mean, hundreds of keys a week. Yeah. So I never lost a load. In 20 years, I never got stopped, or I never lost a load. Never. What I would do though is, I'm making substantial money off every key that I move. I get $1,000 off every one of those keys. So what I would do is, you all saw Smokey and the Bandit. You remember Smokey and the Bandit? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the movie about my man with Burt Reynolds and I forget the other guy's name, but he was driving the truck and they was moving liquor through these dry counties. And the Bandit was in the Trans Am with Sally Fields, and he riding through there, and he's causing the distraction while the bag is going through. So I used the same. I paid people to come in to get tickets and stuff like that to do, so the bag could go through until we advanced, how we were moving the bag. So I had to spend money to make money. So that's why I never lost a load.
Okay. Now, I know you said you met Meech in '85 dealing with the situation with your sister, and end up moving down. You say it was a couple meetings or situations, vacation type situations or whatnot, down to Atlanta before all you guys officially moved to Atlanta around, you said 97, 98?
Yeah, we were down there. We first started off on a street. It was called Robindale or Robinwood. It was in Decatur off Candler Road off the 20. We stayed at a house back there. That's where we when we first got grounded down there. That's where we stayed first. That was around 96, 97.
Okay. Now, in between that, that's almost like a 10-year gap, a 10-year, 12-year gap in between, 85 and 97 or what the case. What type of things were transpiring in between that particular time with BMF? Because the name BMF still wasn't officially called that, right? Were you guys still going under Rush Town Management, or?
No, we left all that.
When I was a young cat, you know what I'm saying? I was a young fella. I remember watching y'all guys do y'all thing. ED, my uncle, you know what I'm saying? So I take care of a lot of his business, quote unquote. He's still be ducking and running.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas did the big though, man. Hey, Dex, we appreciate it too, man, because the real and the truth need to be spoken. Because there's so much phony shit out here that they not even respecting the niggas that's from the beginning.
From the beginning. That's why we straightening this out. We finna straighten all that out. Hey, anybody that didn't say nothing, ain't got. If you said something, you got something to worry about. Cause I got your pictures and everything. I'm finna throw you out there. I'm telling you right now.
Shifting to get real.
And I'm starting from the top. I ain't starting from the bottom.
When we left the 50 Boys and Rush Town Management, we left all that in Detroit. So we was just who we were. That he was dude and I'm me. Sosa. So we didn't even have we didn't even have these nicknames that we have now that we refer each other to today. But we were just, we were in St. Louis. We met some real serious guys in St. Louis, and we were just in and out from St. Louis back to Detroit, and maybe stop in Kentucky. We'd go down through Tennessee. So we were just meeting people as we were going. This is how we were building up this network. It was all starting out of the Midwest, out of the gateway to the Midwest, which is St. Louis. So this is where we really start picking up our traction. Yeah, and that's where we really start picking up our traction. And again, like I said, along the way, we were meeting different people from different places, and we were just trying to. The times were different. There was no TSA. You understand? There was no TSA. So I could walk up there to the check-in, have my ticket already, walk up to the check-in, do a curbside check-in, and check the bag, and then go straight to the plane and watch my bag come on and catch it on the other end. So the times were different then. They not, TSA with all that, you can't do all that now. But then it was different. So we had to come up and devise a way to get our product, out to different places so we can expand the business.
Right. When you I always wondered, like, when you first get into like a new area, say for instance like St. Louis, did you guys kind of meet any resistance there, or was people automatically getting online, or did any negative situations come out of St. Louis? Did anybody ever turn over or try to snitch on you guys from St. Louis?
No, this is the way this works. When people, there's going to always be hustlers in other towns, people that's doing it, and they run their town. But we have great product, and we have a lot of it, and we can afford to give it to you at a price that you can't beat. So what we would do, we would come in and meet these guys and just let them know that, hey man, I know you don't heard about us. We coming in. We were trying to make your business. We want your business to grow. We know you're doing what you're doing. We give you the price. We'll bring it in a sample, let you check it out. But you're gonna be sitting on your work, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't gonna get none sold. So what you can do is you're gonna take the loss on that. We'll help you make the loss up. But and then bam, we gonna give you something, and everybody's gonna eat. And we never had no resistance, because who don't want to make money? Who don't want more money? So we never had no resistance at all. It was about the money, the product and the money. Mm. So we never had to do no shootouts and stuff like that, and we didn't have to do that.
Right. And at the end of everything, so St. Louis is pretty much clear as far as no one came out of that situation as far as being a snitch or a rat about it there.
Oh no. There's a few guys over there that was tainted. They're gonna show up in my BMF bad guys reel. I'm gonna have a BMF bad guys. It's gonna be consistent maybe about 30 guys, and I'm gonna have the paperwork behind it so the people can really go in and see who these people are. Don't take my word for it. This is not what Sosa is saying. This is not what Dexter is saying. This is the government's testimony. This is their own testimony to the grand jury. So you will know these people when you see them. I mean, I'm not telling anything. I'm just a messenger. So I want people to know how this went down, because everybody's done heard stories about BMF, and you done seen all the videos, and you got people coming out of the woodworks talking about, you know, they moved this much, they moved 2,500 and all this stuff. That's not, those are not accurate accounts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but they can glamorize it any way they want. They steal my people. I love the shit out of them. You know what I'm saying? They steal my people. I love them. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna put their business out there, but you know, you let's keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep that 100, bro. You know, I ain't gonna let you just come over here and dramatize some stuff that you wasn't really doing. You know, and you know it and I know it. You know, so and other guys know it too. It's a lot of real guys just sitting around. They know what's going on. So, you know, I ain't gonna sit around and sugarcoat nothing with you, you know, or with nobody else. But it's a lot of bad guys that came out of, like, for instance, my man Danny Jones. He's got a book out, BMF St. Louis. Now he sat there. I seen his documentary and I seen his book, and this guy is a rat. I got the pictures and the paperwork. I will be presenting that. He's going to be one of the guys that I'm going to throw in under the bus. Well, I ain't going to throw him under the bus because he threw himself under there. I'm just going to show you what he told. I'm going to show you exactly what he done in his part, his grand jury testimony. I got them all.
So, okay. So let me ask this question as far as like kind of speeding up to date. You know, maybe, I don't know if it's been year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years. New York rapper 50 Cent been teasing doing a BMF series, and you know, of course, I'm just talking at that time when he first said it, a lot of people, even myself, a lot of people were excited, like, okay, finally someone's going to tell the story about BMF and everything. And then, you know, it's a lot of controversy around, you know, I would see the Charlemagne, the guys that's on the Breakfast Club say, oh yeah, finally it's going to be a down south paid in full story, and the people trying to tell him like, man, this is a Detroit story about brothers or whatever moving down there, this and that. Like,
Right.
what's your overall thoughts about 50 Cent wanting to do this documentary or web series about BMF?
That's like me, somebody asking me, that's like me doing something, saying I'm getting ready to go do the G Unit story, and I don't know nothing about G Unit. You know, so that's one take. But I would love for the brother to do it. I don't have nothing against the brother. I'm not a fan. I'm a businessman, just like the rest of us. We are businessmen. We don't have no problem with that. But who you gonna do it with? Now, whatever rights you got of dudes, you can use Demetrius's rights. That's your thing. But you cannot use the Black Mafia Family. I own that. We own it. That's back in our hands. And why not mess with the real people? I mean, if you want to be famous, if you want to be the man, I can make you the man. You want to make $1 billion? I'm offering you a bag right now. You can get it. I got everything, and I was there. And then all the real people, we all together. You know, holler at us. We ain't got no problem with that. You ain't got to worry about the gang. You finna mess with grown men. You're not gonna be messing around with the gang bang. We ain't doing all that. We're gonna come up in there suited up, ties like grown men. We're gonna come in and sit down and talk, and we're gonna make the best possible deal. We want you to do this. I have no problem with 50, but you ain't gonna clown this, and you're not gonna disrespect the mark. That's all to it. You disrespecting a lot of people, bro. That's disrespectful. But you know, we still do business with you. We can still negotiate with you. That's up to you.
When you say he's disrespecting a lot of people, can you elaborate on that?
You can't go out here and do something and get information from somebody that wasn't there, and not include these people that went to jail, and not including these people's families and stuff. Meech in jail. Meech can't tell you anything. His story is limited. Everything is limited up in there. There's things that Meech can't tell you because he's in jail. Why not mess with the real people out here? It's disrespectful. That's like me going over there trying to do the 50 Cent story.
Right. Now, you who actually owns the trademark or copyright of actual BMF, like the logo and all that?
I own the trademark. I got the trademark. I posted. I got the master filing. They can't do nothing. They can't sell, buy. They can't do nothing. They can't tell. If you go on there, you go to the USPTO and look up the classification 41 on the USPTO, and you're gonna see my name, and it's gonna tell you that any documentaries, any bands, any events, any short documentaries, any movies, any miniseries, any it goes on and on and on and on and on. Any abbreviations, any BMF, black, all that, you cannot use that without my consent. I own the master classification. Now the classification that Tony and them have, we've been through this already with her lawyers. Her lawyer's name was Greenberg, Julie Greenberg. We went through that. She dropped their case because she know that I had the master filing. That was it. But Tony and them still trying to sell the little hat and t-shirt logo, the little hat and t-shirt thing that her son has as being the trademark.
Right.
It's not. It's just for merchandising. It's just for hats and t-shirts.
And how long have you actually had this, trademark? And how long have you had a trademark?
I've had mine for over 3 years now, and so did he.
Now, are you able, doing that? Because I'm not 100% privy to how everything works with that. Once you do it start actively on the date that they approve it, or can you retroact? Say, for instance, for individuals, like say, for instance, a lot of people. Well, I'll say Rick Ross made a song, BMF, Blowing Money Fast. When people do stuff like that, do they have to pay any publishing or anything back to you, or is that the reason why we kind of seen in the past couple of years? I've kind of noticed in the past couple of years, I haven't seen a lot of people throwing up the banner and using it. Is that the reason why?
And that's the reason why. But I've slowly been leaking it, but I haven't leaked it like I wanted to just yet because I needed to make sure that everybody got out and told their story. I've been waiting on Miss Welch to get out to tell her story. So once she told it, she put her foot in her mouth, which I loved. And then now the story is complete. Then I put my book out. My book's only been out like 45 days now. You know what I'm saying? So it hasn't been out long at all, and I'm out here now. So once that happened, I took off because now I got everybody where I want them at. The Blues and everybody, all of them. Now they all Blue Da Vinci, everybody. So now I got them all where I want. They've all came out and they said what they had to say. Now let the truth be spoken. And it's not what Sosa's saying. This is not what Sosa's saying. This is what the paperwork.
The paperwork. And we definitely get into Blue Da Vinci, in another part of, because there's so much to cover, much to cover, and this is just the beginning, basically. How many total quote unquote snitches was attached to the BMF, camp that you know of?
Well, you had they interchanged because you had some guys that was over there and then they came over and they switched back and then they switched back over. So, but maybe about 4 or 5 guys out of all the rest of the guys that told us, say maybe out of a total of 39 guys, maybe about 4 or 5 guys played back and forth, switched over and told. But the majority of them was 263 members.
And 263 meaning that was a part of
TP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now as of recently, going back to the 50 Cent thing with the series, I've been seeing him be taking pictures with little Meech and I've seen like different quote unquote fractions. You see some of the BMF members online supporting it, and then some people online not supporting it. And so it's kind of confusing some of the viewers or the people on the outside looking in. Because I'm seeing those questions. I'm seeing people leaving comments like, well, such and such is supporting it or such and such is not supporting it. What's going on? This and that. Like,
right.
What's your thoughts on that?
Right. Well, first of all, I like that because it's going to, as you see that, we are all together, but we have separate organizations that we belong to, and some of us, even though we belong to separate organizations, we are friends. We still friends. So some people is upset with some things, and some people are not. You understand? But they're not. But they're all claiming to be something that a lot of them is claiming to be something that they're not. What they wasn't involved with, even though they may have started off that way. But when they separated, they went their own separate ways. That was the identity that they took. But the popular identity is the Black Mafia Family, is the BMF. So that's the one that's ringing out here. Nobody's saying 263. Like, for instance, Terry's son right now, Lil T, my man, my nephew, that's my nephew. He's representing his dad's brand, 263. But you don't see Tony around here supporting that. You don't see Tony's son around here supporting him. Instead, they jumped over here on the Black Mafia Family, something that she had nothing to do with it other than bring it down. Why is that? But then she said everybody else is being disrespectful to T. She don't have no respect.
Why is
Why
that?
she's not supported? Because BMF is the hot brand. She's not. She's trying to get something for nothing, and she's trying to get something. She's trying to remember when they was going to get ready to do the BMF wives. Meech was not supporting that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Why is that? That didn't jump off because she was involved. You had that girl on there named Janelle. She was on there faking like she was Big Meech's wifey. She came to my house, told my mom on the phone, on the porch, right there on the front porch, that, Big Meech told me all about Talise, which is my sister, the real first lady. Yeah, but she was just a round-the-way girl. But my sister was with this girl 14 years, and she don't even know she hanging out with Manisa, not even knowing that Manisa's mama is Talise, my sister, which was Meech's girl. That's his baby's mama. That's how stupid she was. She don't even know. I mean, these people just got people around here. They fanning and they coming around. She went over to Demetrius. Janelle went over to the Big Meech wifey. Went over to Demetrius's mama house to go over there to get his birth certificate. And she would Miss Flenory wouldn't even come down. Lucille wouldn't even come down and speak to her.
Now this right down here, this is right around here. Actually, I'm gonna show you. That's Meech and them house right there on the hill. That's the back part. This is the hill that we took. We came around on when we was getting chased by the ATF, and they didn't know the neighborhood, so we got away when we jumped out right here and ran back to the house, man. Lost and we shook the shit out of them.
She came back over to the house. My mom I got the birth certificates and his social security card right now. Right to this day, I got it. He left all his personal stuff in my mom's house. My mom and my dad been mom and dad to him also. I was the last guy to see his dad in the hospital before he passed last year. Yeah, but this is the type of thing that's going on that has to stop now. You have to stop this. And the only way it's going to stop is the truth come out. And some people ain't going to like it.
Right.
But just think of what the real people that's been out here. You notice something, I'm going to tell you. The real guys that's been out here, the real people that's really involved in the family, they not speaking because they know who they are. They don't have to prove nothing. It's all these faking going on. You got a bunch of people faking that didn't go to jail for this. What happened when it was? Where were y'all when they were passing out the time, bro? Sisters, where were y'all at? Everybody disappeared. It was a ghost town. Nobody wanted to take no calls. Nobody wanted to speak to you or nothing. But we're not mad. I'm not mad. We're not mad about it. That's just the way the game goes. But now, but know your place though. Know your place now. Know your place. So that's the reason why 50 Cent or Curtis Jackson, he's not gonna, because he stole somebody else's name before he was 50 Cent. He was Curtis Jackson. So he stole this man's name. Now he want to come over here and steal our identity. He want to come over here and use the BMF, Black Mafia Family, when in actuality, only thing he has is Demetrius Flenory rights to tell his life story. He has nothing else. I got the paperwork. I got it when it was signed on the 2014. I got it. I got everything about him. He was trying to push his liquor down here, the Branson liquor. He doesn't even have a distributor. He was going to use the BMF brand to cross-promote that liquor. And that's an infringement on my trademark. And he will be seeing me again. It's already going down, bro. So I'm just trying to give this man a chance to come out. And, man, I'll make you you want to be the kingpin? I can make you the kingpin. And we ain't not mad at you, bro. But it's just you being disrespectful. That's all. But we businessmen. We can work together and not get along. We can work together. Let's get money.
Right.
I don't know you like that. I approached him twice when he was here on 8 Mile when he was selling the effing vodka, and then he went over here in the Southwest Detroit area, and he was over there, and I went to him twice. He looked up and seen me again. I said, it's me again. I gave him the letter that he posted online and said that Demetrius sent it to him.
So you gave him that letter?
I gave him that letter. I gave it to him. I said, you look at this letter, man. That's me. Holler at me, man. I gave him my card and everything. That dude never called me.
But he posted it online and said it made it seem like Big Meech sent it directly to him. And what was this letter about?
It was just basically just letting him know that, hey, this is my man Sosa, because me and him was talking. I told him my name's Sosa. I put it out. I had my business card. I gave it to him and everything. I said, man, you can get in touch with me. I said, you ain't got to worry about writing no script or nothing. I got 40,000 pages. I got hours and hours of surveillance. I got wiretaps. I got it written wiretaps. I got it translated. I said, I got bank statements. I have Castiga letters, proffer letters. I have a grand jury testimony. I have IRS, DEA, ATF, HIDTA. I have all the interviews and memorandums. I have all the special investigative reports. I got everything. Holla at me.
And all of this is what's inside of the Black Mafia Family Blueprint to Conspiracy ebook and everything.
Well, exactly. But let me say, the ebook can only allow me with so many pages. So what I'll be doing is every 4 months, I'll be switching up, giving you different looks. And in the meantime, I'll be posting up pages within the Instagram page so people can see, so I can give you the blueprint to conspiracy. And what I want the people to know is I'm not here attacking the government. It's not the government that you have to worry about. It's the people that you spend your time with every day that come in the house to kiss your kids, to be around your mom, that's around your sister and your brothers. Those are the people you're going to have to worry. That's the conspiracy. They're going to turn against you and you out in the streets. What I'm trying to do is save lives. What y'all need to do is find y'all another game, bro, because they're going to keep filling these prisons up with y'all, man. And it ain't the government. It's going to be the man next to you. Right. That's the blueprint. That's the blueprint.
And that's something that I did want to ask you. You know, if someone was listening to this and was wondering, you know, what's your overall objective of now wanting to put out this information, you know, what would your answer be to that? Was it pretty much what you just said, or?
Yes, we control everything. Our money controls everything. Without us, there's nothing. So what we need to do is start putting together and let's make things happen. I don't want to argue with this man. I ain't got nothing against this man. I don't even know him. But he's not going to just piss on his legacy like that. Or none of that. You're not going to just omit real men out here. That people that good men that's still in jail. You're not going to do it. Man, look, bro, we can make money, man, to have fun, man. This is what the movement was all about. We was bringing us together.
You don't get nothing like this nowhere. Everybody move like brothers, and everybody from different places. Milwaukee, St. Louis, Detroit, Texas, Atlanta, Cali, you know what I'm saying, Florida.
That man, Lauren Cone down there in New York, that's a smart man. That man was fixing to bring all this together and gonna let us just run this, go run. We was gonna bring it together. This man was gonna be mega rich.
Can you come back some? Can you say that name again? Who did you just say?
My man, Lior Cohen. Lior Cohen.
Oh, Lior Cohen.
New York, yeah, that man there we was down there meeting with him in New York. And the feds came in and said, man, he came in twice and said, man, if you sign this, man, we're gonna come in and investigate you. He said, look, when y'all get that together, come back and holler at me. And that's what happened right before they took us down.
So Leo Cohen had a deal on the table to sign BMF.
Yes. And we was on our way. It was the entertainment. We was on our way. We was done with the streets. The streets was bent over.
and around what year was this?
That was 1985 or 84, 85, just before the takedown. That's why they had to hurry up, because they was running out of time. So they came up with the Doc Marshall story. And I got the paperwork where you're gonna see how they were leading, how the whole testimony was leading to the grand jury, and they got their indictments and they came down and grabbed everybody up. And that's what happened.
You said 1980 or 1990 something?
No, I said 2005. I'm sorry.
Oh, 2005. Okay, so this is 2005 is when the meetings with Leo Cohen and all that stuff. So this was basically around the same time, or maybe a little bit after, when Jeezy and Fabulous and Blue Da Vinci did the song Out There in New York.
Yes, that was the time that the meetings was taking place. At the same time, we was down there with Jigga and them. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. The right time. You got it right. Exactly. We was on our way. We was done, dude. The streets was over. We was out the street. The Black Mafia Family was out the streets.
On that side. Done. Right.
Yeah, we were done on that side. I don't know what team was doing, but we were done.
Because a lot of people, even with the DVDs and everything, a lot of people said Big Meech had a 50-50 chance or even higher if he possibly even went to court and tried to really fight it, that he possibly could have beat it on his end, that they didn't have a lot against him. It was more or less.
They didn't. Now, let me tell you what happened. What had happened was they had his mother talking to T on the phone and his sister talking to T on the phone about T talking about doing something to Meech. They played, one of the agents played that at the dog kennel to me and Meech. Me and Meech went out there. Meech was really hurt. But the agent came back and played the killing where he said he was going, but T said he was going to have something done to Meech. You know, Because Meech bringing us into a bad light and this and that the other. And they heard their mother discussing some stuff, you know what I'm saying, and they knew. So what they did was they told Demetrius, we already got your dad and we got your brother. And we got your mom and your sister too on the recording. Da, 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 da. Now you're gonna take something or we're gonna lock them up. And he could have just walked. So what had happened was they came up with another deal in the room. The prosecution came up with another deal, and Demetrius, it's called the detention hearing. I got the detention hearing, as well as the Wolf shooting interview. I got all this, dude. I got everything. It's very interesting. It's a great read, dude. You read this, but this is not what I'm saying. I got the documents. Mm-hmm. So what they were gonna do was they said, look, if you don't take this plea we getting ready to give you, we're gonna lock your mom and your sister up. So he took the plea. He knew they ain't had nothing. So he's looking at 12, 15 years. Mm-hmm. And then the judge went back, and once he took the plea, they slammed him.
They doubled back and made it 30.
They slammed him. Sure did.
And that's
what happened.
And that's basically what they've been fighting with these appeals this whole time. Because I heard, you know, of course from the outside looking in, and I heard like it's a lot of stuff in this paperwork that he got charged twice with this and that. You know what I mean? To inflate the time.
Yes, and that's why I'm telling you, they went to my sister and was trying to get my sister to come and get him for child support or anything. My sister said no. My whole family was like, hell no, why would I do that? You know, I mean, they were just relentless. They are deviants now. They deviants. They're gonna win by any means necessary. They don't care. They don't. I have several different grand jury indictment papers that they had to redact several times because they thought I was Hispanic. They didn't know who I was. They didn't know nothing about me. So this is how these people play. When I went in there and I told them that I wasn't Hispanic, you know what I'm saying, based on that criteria alone, this case should be dismissed. They went back and redacted and sent me another. They was not going to let me go. Even in the courtroom, the judge told the prosecutor, he said that, look here, if you lose this one, it's not coming out of my pocket. Oh, my kids, my mama to tell you this. So they was not going to lose. They were trying to get everybody that they could off this case. They made money off this case, $270 million.
That's crazy. And
yeah, it was a money. It was a hey, and my case was worth $4 million out of the bank out of Louisiana, out of the Chase Bank of Louisiana. I got all the paperwork. I've looked it all up.
And where were you actually? You were sentenced and went to court in Louisiana or in Michigan?
No, in Detroit. That's where they got their loans from.
Right. Oh, okay.
I was downtown. I'm on the big case. I was on the major case, on the main case. Anybody that wasn't on the main case, they wasn't on the main case. They were off in St. Louis and other places, but I was downtown in Detroit with the original.
Now, this is a question I want to ask, and something I thought of, and throughout this time of, you know, I hate to keep referring and being redundant with saying, okay, the DVDs, we see interviews of different BMF members on different platforms, and you know, of course, from what I do as being a platform, I have to read comments and having conversations with people, and people feel like, you know, these enterprises and stuff like that, as far as hurting the community. During this time from 85 to 2004, were there any things that BMF did with the money that was like giving back to people and helping or any type of ways?
All the time, man. We were supporting all the kids, all the football programs, basketball programs. We were putting people in homes, feeding homeless, helping people start businesses up. What else? You name it. A lot of the businesses that was coming up, we supported all that. I mean, a lot of the athletes and stuff like that that were in school and stuff like that these colleges wasn't paying. We took care of all them. You know, a lot of people was coming back like, yo, man, I appreciate that. You know, here, take this money and do. They wanted to do things for you. We would never take the money. You know what I'm saying? We would never take the money. I mean, it was just phenomenal. As you know, when we stopped doing what we doing, the whole economy fell. I mean, literally, everything fell. So, you know, it was just a crash. Man, I mean, we were really supporting a lot of stuff behind the closed doors. We were really pushing, you know, I won't say where or who, but yeah. And in some of these places, it's still, a lot of these places, a lot of these people, even today, especially in the music industry, a lot of these people are doing very, very well, and they're doing well in these clubs because of the support that we gave them back in the day and the monies that was given out. I mean, you had all kinds of guys, even up to boxers, boxing promoters and stuff like that. We had everybody. We were doing everything. Everybody was eating. Right. Everybody. You know, and it was just money. We didn't care. Because let me say something. It's not about the money. It's the people. That's the power. The people is the power, not the money. It's good to have money, but the power is in the people and how you treat them. That's the power. That's the money. That's the goal. That's the value.
Right.
And we do that.
Now, just recently, you know, J-Bo from BMF just came home. Is there a particular reason why, like, J-Bo, Fabulous, and other people that, you know, that's known to be connected to BMF during that time back in the day did not go down to the festivities and everything this prior weekend or anything dealing with, like, the casting call or anything else with 50 Cent?
Because it's disrespectful. They not messing. You got to understand something. Them guys, they not gonna mess with him. I can tell you that they won't mess with this guy like that. You know what I'm saying? It'll have to be somebody that a good go between. Me, I'm the only guy that really that'll go in there that can make something really happen here, dude. I'm the only one. I know exactly what's needed and what's not needed. Let me handle this and you handle that. And I guarantee they're gonna come along. They will come along. I know just what to do, man. This is what dude was gonna do. This is not Sosa's dream. This is not what I'm not putting this together. I'm just following the blueprint that we had already laid down. This was something, but this is his mouth. This was his baby. I'm trying to fulfill it. Why would Meech be over there with 50 and nobody else support that? Because they don't like 50, but they'll support dude. But it's got to be somebody here to go between. That's why when I came home, I got the trademark and I got the whole case. Holla at me, dog. I've been there since 85. Holla at me, dude. You're not going to be able to do it without me because I'm the only go-between here. I'm the only go-between. Nobody else is going to mess with you. And it ain't going to work because I got the trade.
And a lot of people kind of consider you during this era of everything. They considered you kind of like the ghost of BMF, you know.
Right. I'm the James St. Patrick. And I'm the ghost, the real ghost, the Patrick Swayze around here. Because anybody that knew I ran the whole show quietly. But I'm not the guy that going out to the clubs. I don't dress in the big saggy pants and all that. I dress up. I'm an old school D-boy. I'm big black gators, baby. You know what I'm saying? Gabs and suit pants, suit coats and shit, and sports coats. I don't do that. I ain't flashy. I might drive something decent, but I ain't flashy like that. I don't need the spotlight. I don't like the camera. You know, I talk a lot of crap and stuff like that, but that's not me. I like the business. I'm excited about doing the business, man. I'm just excited with the business. That's adrenaline for me. I love that. Right. I'm high energy. I love that. I love going into your town, talking crap, showing you how to make this bag work. I love that. That's what I did. I've been adapted to that. I've been doing that since '85.
Yeah. Now I want to get to know who is Richard Maurice Garrett, aka Baba, and what was
that guy? That guy, I grew up with him. We grew up in the projects together, the same place I was telling you. His father, Fishman, and my uncle Bobby, was real close. They were into their things in the street. So I grew up with Baba all the way. We went to high school together. We went to college together and everything. This guy ended up telling on me. After all this, that's how close this is. This is what I'm trying to tell the people about the blueprint, the conspiracy. This was just about. You can grow up with somebody from the sandbox all the way to the end, and they'll turn on you. That hurt me. That's why I put this guy's face out there, because I want y'all to know, because he hurt me. His name is in my paperwork all through it. He told all on me. He know everything about me. This guy, we laid together in the same dorm room in college.
Okay, so can you paint the picture of what actually happened that got him in custody to put him in a position to tell on you?
Okay, what happened was we were out in Gardena, and we had run into a bad spell just before we met the Mexican Mafia, before we met the essays, and he had something like $140,000 that was on the book. We was gonna use all that. Me, him, T, Meech, and the old man. We was gonna put all our money together and go get us a bag from somebody. You know what I'm saying? And try to work this back. He had more money than all of us, but our money still would have added up to a nice lump sum. He wanted his money, so we gave him his money. He took off, so he was out. Then he went down there and got with J-Rock and them. My man Davis, J-Rock and them, he got with them, and J-Rock and them ended up running him over. So he saw us again in 2002. We back on top. We saw him in Magic City. And he was sitting over there. He's like, yeah, I want to come back. And dude was like, man, you was a boss over here. You know, went over there. He's like, no, man, you know, this is what loyalty gets you over here. So ever since then, he's just been bitter. So when he had a chance to strike out against him, he did. And that's what happened. And we all grew up together. But I told Meech and him, I never really liked Baba in the start from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I never really cared for him.
I'm actually reading. I'm gonna read some things that's directly from some paperwork, and I guess you maybe could fill in the dots as far as now. This is the paperwork around the government informant called Harold. The guy you spoke on a little bit earlier called Harold Mills. Now, from what I'm reading on here, you know, it has the question and answers, and he was talking about the answer was Nigel and okay. Now during 92 and 99 while you were in jail, did you still have contact with Terry Flenory? This was the actual conversation that you said that he was having from inside of jail that ultimately got T. That's when he was speaking to Tony.
Yeah, he was talking. He was actually speaking with the grand jury. You're going to see a name there named, a dude named Roland West and another guy named Diddy. That's me. I'm Diddy. That's me. So he was telling on me. I've been knowing H and Tony and them since 1986, 87. I've been knowing her a long time. So I know this. Tony been back there since she been around for a long time. So yeah, so he's actually talking to the grand jury when he's saying that. Those papers are coming. Those are direct questions that's coming, that's being asked by the grand jury, and he's out there giving our names and dates.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what that's for.
I'm trying to get to it right now. I end up seeing a picture with Kim Kardashian standing next to a man. I believe his name is Damian Thompson.
Damian Ewing Thomas. He's the cousin of Puff, of Sean Puffy Combs, the first cousin of Sean Puffy Combs. That's how we met him.
And what was his relationship with, why is Kim Kardashian with him?
He was married to Kim Kardashian. That was her first husband before she married the basketball player.
And he was a part of BMF?
Yes, he introduced us to a lot of other different celebrities, you know, not besides Puffy. We met him through Puff. That's Puff's cousin. So that's how we met him. And he knew a lot of other different people and a lot of other different connections. You know, he was a producer. So he knew a lot of other different things. And through him, you know, the family met a lot of other different people.
Now, as far as, you could correct me as far as the actual dates. There was actually 2 times that Big Meech was on probation. Was both times inside of Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay. What ended up happening, or the story based around this? I believe it was the second time, as far as like a possible gun charge or something like that.
That was the first time. That was when he was on probation. He was under house arrest. He had his house over in Stone Mountain. He had got pulled over. They were targeting him anyway. So they had pulled him over, did a regular traffic stop, pulled him over. And then some other people had showed up, and it was a gun in the car. And you had a few guys that was in the car with him, you know what I'm saying? The rapper, you had, you know, the little Indian, and you had my man Throwback, and you had you had another guy in the car, and Demetrius. So what had happened was, they came in and they was like, well, whose gun is this? And wouldn't none of these guys say nothing? Would nobody say nothing? Nobody said nothing. And then my man, only one guy spoke up. He's like, man, that's my gun. The people, my man Throwback said, that's my gun. His name David Walker. They call him Throwback. He was like, no, that's my gun there. And the people, the police that pulled up on him, they was like, no, that's not your gun. That's his gun. They were trying to put the gun on Demetrius. You know what I'm saying? But he was like, "Now, how you gonna tell me what the hell that ain't?" So, bam, my man took the rap, but the rest of them guys stood around, man. They all turned their back like shit, like they wasn't gonna take the rap. At that point, right there, I told dude, send them niggas home, man.
And
how you gonna sit there and not let the boss? How you gonna let the boss fall? What kind of dudes? That's what y'all here for, man. Y'all smoking mirrors. Y'all been sitting around here eating and everything. Man, I told dude, and every time I came in off the road, I would tell dude and them, when I got back, when I see him, I said, man, with you boys still here? Man, what is you doing? But dude loved them boys. I liked them too, but they just wasn't, it was useless. You know what I'm saying? It was just smoking mirrors for real. We already knew what it was. Let me tell y'all something. This been going on since the 80s. We had perfected this. These guys they just came in 2001, 2002.
Yeah, we used to put stuff up in the Crunchy Munch boxes, and then people go in there and grab them out. Hey, we know how many in there. Take you one and get your ass on. Don't go in there and take no more. We already know what it is, and when you leave, we gonna check it anyway. So don't play no games. But we used to come up in here to the gas station, man. That's where we used to make our sales. We used to walk right here, back down here through the path from the Meech and them house. All that's right around the corner, and we used to come in here, man. This is another one of our spots that we did.
You know what I'm saying? Blue came in '99. We met Blue out in Gardena. He used to get the bud and the pills. That's all he was. We met him through a guy out there. I ain't gonna say his name, but we met him through he's a director out there. We met him through him. That's how we met him. Blue just never went away. And then he just started bringing other people over and bringing other people in. They didn't have no real functions there other than the smoking mirrors. That's what they were. I love the guys, though. They were good guys.
Right.
I loved it.
So given the title, like smoking mirrors, quote unquote, like decoys and stuff like that, besides just like the partying and everything else that was associated, because I think from the viewer aspect of people, not just the viewers that's watching this particular interview, but people that's been watching this either quote unquote case or all the documentaries and everything, they consistently would see certain faces around Meech all the time. So I'm assuming that they felt like they maybe have played a bigger role than they may have. Like on a day-to-day basis, like normally what would these guys really be doing if they wasn't partying?
They slept through the day and partied at night. Now, sometimes when the bags show up, they'll grab, you know what I'm saying? They'll go in, they'll move the stuff from out of whatever it comes in, and then bam, they'll stack it or whatever, and they'll go in and they'll make sure they'll prep the transportation or whatever it is. And basically that's all they done. They didn't do nothing. That's how they received their checks. In the meantime, that's how they received their checks.
And when you say prep the cars, you mean like cleaning the cars and stuff like that?
Load, unload, clean, you know what I'm saying? That's it.
Right.
They never did no older road work. They never did nothing like that. Their risk was very, very low. You know what I'm saying? We've already had this machine running. So we're not trying to put no people in no positions. They were not suited for the task. So they just had minimal jobs. Again, basically what they done was they were smoking mirrors. That's all they were. They were just faces that was around me, and they got famous for that. If it wasn't for that, if it wasn't for them just hanging around, dude, you wouldn't even know these guys. They had no role at all whatsoever in the game. I ain't saying that they wasn't around. They done seen a few things, but they were not really a part of the machine.
Around, you say Blue came around 99. Shortly after, was it shortly after, or when did Young Jeezy really kind of appear and come up on the scene? The reason why I asked that is because, just to clarify, to see, did Jeezy end up being the individual that was solid through and through?
Man, I love that guy right there, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to not say nothing about him because of his position today. You know what I'm saying? I don't want, I'm just gonna, that subject right there with him. I just put it this way, man. He's the snowman. He's 100, dog.
Right.
He's 100. That's it. That's I ain't gonna say nothing else about
Okay.
Because he's in a delicate position right now. I ain't got.
Right. Oh, well, I respect that. I get, so I'll say the next question, but the reason why I asked that is because I would just, for myself, I don't want to say invested, but just watching everything that was going on, I just seen how hard it appeared when, Blue first came home, that he was just constantly talking about, old boy not putting money on, Big Meech books and all this stuff like that. So I guess I was just wondering, but you say he's a solid cat. So
Da Vinci, I know you were, what exactly were you charged with?
Conspiracy with intent to distribute.
And that was with the whole entire BMF bust, right? Where a lot of people ended up going to prison.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're raising a lot of hell right now because you recently just said that Young Jeezy's fan base is all homos. You said the homo community loves Young Jeezy.
Yeah, they love him.
But I thought Young Jeezy was part of the whole BMF movement.
I mean, he was, but it all used to be.
We had Jeezy up here a couple months ago. Jeezy said him and Meech are still cool. So he talks to Meech, and Meech talks to him about what's going on in the club scene, what's going on in the streets.
Yeah, but what about this appealing lawyer? Yeah, he ain't doing what he's supposed to do, man. Period. At the end of the day, if you could get Meech on the phone right now, it'd be a different tune that he's singing.
So what you're saying is that Jeezy has not put up the money for the appeal for Big Meech.
Exactly. I mean, he won't do nothing, period. At the end of the day, man, like I just talked to the big homie recently, and he's like, man, it's crazy that, the part of the fam, the rapper that was connected with the fam that ended up having, much success, that he's doing his thing and he's really in a position to make a difference in Meech's life right now. He ain't really stepping up to the plate right now, and it's crazy. I got to come home, rebuild this BMF brand from ground zero, and do it all on my own.
Has anybody had a conversation with Jeezy? Have any of y'all, ever stepped to him?
Hey, look, man. I hear. I came home. I tracked his number down. I called him. I'm like, what up, this Blue? He like, Blue who? And it's Blue Da Vinci. He say, oh, what's up? I said, man, what's going on, man? Let's sit down, man, so we can chop it up and figure out the move, man, with the players. All right, let me hit you right back. So 2 days passed. My people from Detroit hit me like, man, the man got to show at the Fox Theater to call him so we can get some tickets to come. I said, all right, let me call him. I called his phone, the number was changed. I said, man, what part of the game is this? This must be overtime, right? I ain't gonna say I hate the man or nothing like that, but my whole thing is, man, just keep it honest, man. Keep it real. If the people on your back and you can't do nothing, or you set something up, or they said, what?
Here's your question: as close as Jeezy was to the situation, how did he avoid getting, indicted and all that good stuff?
Man, listen, man, that's the $1 million question. The man name in more paperwork than me.
Let me ask you a question. When you say Jeezy's name is in paperwork, what you mean Jeezy's name is in the paperwork?
It ain't I don't think his name is in paperwork. I got the paperwork.
But you said that there's paperwork. That where Jeezy is talking, or you just said there was what statements are made?
No.
You saying because
I'm not going to disclose what the statements is, but they was made against him. I'm not saying that he made statements.
Okay, thank you. I just want to clear that up.
I don't have paperwork saying that he made statements. I wouldn't do nobody like that.
All right, I just want to clear that up. All right.
Yeah, what that is really him and Gucci Man they came along. And they was moving, but Blue was there first, and his stuff was never moving. Nobody really liked his stuff. You got guys like Fabulous and Akon, all these guys, they're around. You know what I'm saying? But they nobody's feeling Blue's vibe. Blue, he's trying to do something. We were trying to put something behind him to make this move, and he was whack. Nobody liked it. I didn't like his music. I didn't like that. I didn't like nothing. You know what I'm saying? He was arrogant for no reason at all. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have no humility, no humble. He was not a humble guy. He's a very arrogant, person. You know what I'm saying? He's hard to like. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care for the guy. He's an okay dude, but I mean, it is what it is. But again, Jeezy and Gucci was around, so he had to choose who he wanted to out. So they all went against. So he went against. He tried to turn people against Gucci. You know what I'm saying? And then Gucci went on. That's what that incident that happened down there. He had tried to turn himself against Gucci and team up with Jeezy. As soon as Gucci was gone, then he jumped on Jeezy's back. Then he tried to push Jeezy out. You know what I'm saying? But Jeezy was already an intricate part of this, so it wasn't nothing he can do about that. So when he come home, he wants to say, well, you ain't doing this for dude and you ain't doing that for dude. That was all just to pick with him to try to extort money out this man. Because he ain't doing shit for dude neither.
Yeah.
I saw him at the club down here when I came home here in Detroit. And he was like, yeah, man, I'm just doing this for dude. I said, man, dude don't need your money. You don't need nothing from you, dude. I said, you doing that shit for yourself, dude. You know what I'm saying? All that lying, man. Nobody trying to hear that. But I already knew what I was going to do to him anyway. Right. I just was biding my time. I knew what I was going to do to all. I got them all. I'm going to get them all. Ain't nobody going to survive the toll on this. Anybody that told, you better come on and fess up before I tell it.
That's real. Because over 40,000 pages of documents, people can't argue with paperwork, you know.
That's right. BMF got bad guys. And guess what? I'm going to be exposing y'all ass. We got bad guys too.
And you know, of course, this particular question, of course, you know, is not from the angle of like the details of and for me to, I have to say, you know, my condolences and rest in peace to the individual named Wolf. But I'm just wondering, you know, is there, as far as just that whole situation with or just maybe the weeks leading up or the weeks after or anything like that, like, is there any stories around that particular time of what was going on in Atlanta that you would want people to know that people have never heard before dealing around that situation?
The days before that happened, Meech was down up there in New York with this guy at his family's house at a birthday party. Everybody got along. We were all good and everything. Everything was great. You know what I'm saying? So when we got back down there, it was this particular chick. You know what I'm saying? This little mixed chick that Wolf was seeing, and the car man. Another rat, his name is Eric Mark Whaley, a.k.a. Swift. I'm going to be bringing paperwork out on his ass, too. He was messing with this girl. So somebody seen it and called Wolf, and then Wolf showed up at the club and was like, yo, Meech, man, you know, man. So he's like, man, you know, and man, she ain't with me, man. You know, she's over there messing with one of the dudes. And they was like, man, leave that girl alone. That's dude's girl. Leave her alone. You know what I'm saying? And let her go about her business. There's plenty of women in here, man. We ain't gonna fight over no women. So we ain't gonna argue about no women. So dude just went on, kept doing what he do. And you know, Wolf was like, he told her to come on, and she wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
So he got mad and he went back up to Meech, and Meech was like, "Oh man, listen, man, she ain't with me, dude." She's like, "Baby, you know, you got to go because my man, you know what I'm saying." So the security came up at that time, and they seen it was getting out of hand. So they put dude Wolf and them out. So when dude and them was coming out the club, Wolf and them was waiting on him. And if dude wouldn't have turned around and got hit in the ass, he would have shot Meech in his privates. And another guy got hit in the leg. The Indian guy hit too. But somebody else laid them niggas down. And that's what happened. That's what happened, man. It was all about a brawl, man. It was some other things that was going on. And like I say, Puffy was a good friend of ours. He was a good friend of the family. And he didn't really need my man's services no more. He didn't really need his services like that no more. So this dude was, you know, he was gonna try to make a name off dude. You know what I'm saying? And you know, shit, after that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Him and his guy, you know, they killed him. Somebody killed him. It wasn't the family. I don't know who. I don't even know, bro. That's still a mystery to me. But I do have the interview after the detective, the lead detective, his name is David Vince Vasquez. He's the lead detective right now on the ATL homicide. He interviewed Demetrius down there. Demetrius chose to do the interview with him of the shooting after he got patched up at the hospital with no attorney. I have that document. I'll be presenting that to y'all too, so y'all can see for yourselves what this man was saying, so y'all can stop saying if there's any doubt out there about we had anything or Black Mafia Family or Demetrius had something to do with that shooting, we gonna kill all that. I have that document. I have those documents. I think it's like 149 pages or something like that. I got it.
Right. It's a lot. It's a lot to really digest, especially with everything starting in '85 to when everything end up going down. Is there any kind of, I don't know if you would call it an update or that you know of dealing with Big Meech or T or situation as far as you got a lot of people, oh, he may come home early or he's coming home next year. Every all the time you see these headlines of different people putting up videos, saying this and that. What's your thoughts on it as far as from what you know about Meech's situation?
They're not gonna release their. They're not gonna take their prize catch out of. They're not gonna let them out until they can actually until their time. They can do all the appeals they want and do all that. I hate to say that. I love the shit out of both of them. They my brothers. Them boys slept at my house. We ate together. We did everything together. Everything. You talked with my mom earlier. She told you the same thing. But they're not gonna let these guys go. They're dangerous. And then they owe restitution. So now is 50 gonna be paying back that restitution that they owe? Because if you're gonna be using their name, you're gonna have to pay restitution, bro. I mean, but I guess the police don't have to pay restitution, huh? I mean, I don't know. But you're gonna have to pay restitution. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
You got to see how this goes.
And that's crazy as far as, so basically in that type of high profile type of situation, restitution is easily in the millions of dollars.
Oh yeah. You seen the case, I had circled it and I put it up on the Instagram page. Again, just go to my Instagram, go to the Instagram page, and you're gonna see that it was circled. The case is 270 million. So, and then you look at the magazines, it's all on the magazine. So a part of that restitution is they owe restitution. They have to pay back the government for all the time that they spent investigating this case. So they owe restitution. Plus their incarceration, their food, their clothing, all that you gonna have to pay all that back. This is how they keep reciprocating, keep making money. This is a big business, man. This is business. This is business. Strictly business. Yeah. They don't care about you. You just product. The detention hearing is the bad boy. That's the one when they was gonna release Meech, where they didn't have no evidence against him, and he was gonna leave him home under home confinement. And then they turned around and changed their mind and wouldn't let him go. I got all that, man. It's beautiful, man. It's a beautiful read, man. You'll love it. The government said so many things about. They just was so fucking astounded at how these black guys just came in here and was doing this, and nobody never knew.
That's the question I was going to... Okay, I'm glad that just sparked, because that's the question I was going to ask you about that one guy that we was talking about earlier. Okay. Now, one of the final questions for this particular part that I did want to ask you about, once again, like during them DVDs or, one of the head investigators or narrators, I can't remember his name at this moment, but he just... Jack Harvey, just within the past 5-something years,
right.
he ended up getting busted on some drug cases and stuff like that. Like, during this run, were there a lot of, I guess you would say, fraudulent cops that you guys had interactions with, or cops that was working behind the scenes to help make things run?
Yes. We had guys that was under other guys that was leading cases that was working for us. They were double agents. Yes, we had several guys that we were paying. I personally paid them. Yeah.
And what would they do? Kind of tip you off and let y'all know if it was getting hot in certain things, or just turn a blind eye?
They was just letting us know, what the different agencies were planning against us, and who they were looking at, and what to look for, and when to move, and when to chill, and who you should be motherfucking getting away from, and different things like that. So we were always well informed,
right?
Because money was a very motivating factor.
Exactly.
Right.
And just from your eyes, what do you think the largest amount of bricks you ever seen at one particular time, or had to move around?
Let me tell you something. This is what it goes. On average, you get 6 tons a year. 6 tons is 6,000 keys. which it breaks down to 500 keys every month. 500 times 12 is what? 6,000. So that's what you got for a year. So I would see a trunk full of keys. You know, I'll see that. But say from January to July, I'll knock all 6,000 of them off. By August, September, we'll need another 3 or 4 keys, 3 or 4 tons, and then we'll just hold some back to go into the new year, and we'll be done. So we maybe have about 500 to 600 before we'll be come back, or maybe 100 sometimes for the year. So we was knocking down anywhere between 6 and 9 tons every year.
And one thing, and it popped in my mind that I should have asked the question directly behind the 50 Cent situation. Is it true? I seen something where they said like 50 Cent really didn't, quote unquote, like Big Meech or had some untasteful things to say about Big Meech.
Yeah, he know what he did. You know what I'm saying? He had a change of heart, but I think my man out west, my man Spider Lope, he brought it up too. If you look at one of those look in the comments, he know that this man, actually laughed at us, laughed at the family after they got busted. Like, yeah, you knew that shit was gonna come. You know, he laughed, but it was kind of like some undercover, like, you know, envy stuff going on there. You know what I'm saying? At the time, he did say some things. You know what I'm saying? He did say that he made jokes about it. You know, but now he's trying to make money off of it, and then he don't want to use the family. But you know, that's good. I mean, he derived his rights through another person. Her name's Tammy Conway. I have those documents also, where he signed over in 2014. We renewed his last contract with this guy. You know what I'm saying? Almost 5 years ago, and he renewed his contract. Now he's trying to make money off the family. That's okay. You know, the dude want to sign with him. The dude is a very forgiving dude. He's a great guy. I love Meech. You know, he's a great guy. He's one of a kind dude. You know what I'm saying? So if he forgiving this guy, that's not for me to say. But you're not gonna use my mark and tell my story out there, because you got to remember something. Me, Meech, and T, and there's another guy's name, Derek Meeks. I'm gonna mention him right now. I love this little dude right here. You know what I'm saying? But he had to part from us for some other reasons. But our stories are directly intertwined. So what stories you gonna tell? Because if you're gonna tell the story, you might well come see me. You ain't gotta go nowhere. You ain't gotta go through all that. And I know you ain't going to see dude. Everybody wants to say, oh, Meech told me, or Meech said that, like that's gonna make it okay. Like for instance, he brought Little Meech down there. Like that's gonna back me off. Okay, you could have brought Jesus down there if you wanted to. You didn't say a prayer for you. You still gonna have to see me. The legality of it all, you're gonna have to see me in the end. It doesn't matter. There's no way around me. So I mean, a good businessman. If you're a businessman, I like your style. I like what you do. A lot of people don't care for you, but you know what I'm saying? I can work with you. I don't have no problem with that.
Anything else that we didn't cover or that you wanted to make sure that's in this first part?
Well, like I want to say is this guy, Mr. Jackson, nobody's upset about you or nobody's mad at you. At least the people that count, they don't have no problem with you. You can be great, dude. You can go down in history. You can be the kingpin. You can be the man. I'll make you rich. I'll make you a millionaire. I'll make you a billionaire if you really want to do this. If you really want to do what you say you're gonna do, come holler at me, dog. I guarantee you, I give you everything you need. All your dreams will come true. Holler at Sauce Money. Holler at Dexter, Hussey. I ain't hard to find. So you gotta do is get off on exit 46 over here off 75. Stop at the gas station or the party store and say, man, where's Sauce at? Somebody gonna tell you. That ain't hard to find, bro.
But I'm gonna clip that and put that back in a part where, you know what I'm saying, wherever we was talking about, the last part we was talking about 50. So, man, once again, I greatly appreciate it. You know, of course, this ain't gonna be the last time we gonna speak. You know what I'm saying?
I'm giving this home, dog. This gonna be our home here. This home ground. I'm giving it to y'all. This home here. Now, there's gonna be some other ones, but I wanted to be organic. I wanted to come out of here. But every time I mention something, so I'm gonna mention, Mr. 7 Mile to Bell House Loaded. I'm gonna mention my man Doc Hicks. This is where this come from, man. The homie. Always,
Word.
Always, definitely. Bro. Always.